Well, we finally made it to the end of Unit 10, and this is the Unit 10 test review. I'm going to work some sample problems very similar to what you might see on the Unit 10 test. My suggestion is to watch all of this, go through all of it, make sure you understand before attempting the Unit 10 test. So we're just going to get started. Problem 1. What type of triangle has side lengths of 5 feet, 6 feet, and 7 feet? Well, we classify triangles by angles and by side lengths, and since all we have here are side lengths, we have to use it that way. And since all three side lengths are different, that means that this is scalene. If all three are the same, it's equilateral, and if two of them are the same, it's isosceles. For problem number 2, we are asking to find x, and in this case you have to remember that the four angles, the interior angles of a quadrilateral, any convex quadrilateral, add up to 360. So I'm going to add these four angles up. I'm going to add 2x plus 3x plus x plus 60, and I'm going to set this equal to 360. Now it just becomes a little bit of an equation like we had back in first semester. 2x plus 3x plus 1x, these are like terms. This is 6x. I can combine those. Remember, this is like 1x there. Equals 360. I'm going to subtract 60 from both sides. And I get 6x equals 300. And I'm going to divide by 6 to solve for x, and I get x is equal to 50. Now it doesn't ask for it, but that's 50. Then that would be 3 times 50, or 150. And that would be 2 times 50 and 100, or equal to 100. So x equals 50 for that problem. For problem number 3, we're going to find the area. We have because of the markings, we have opposite sides parallel, so we have a parallelogram, and the formula is equal to base times height. In this case, the way it's drawn, I'm going to use my base here is 12, and my height here is 7. So this is going to be 12 times 7, or 84, and this is area, so it's square centimeters. That was an easy one. Problem 4 is a little bit different. It's a trapezoid. We have a formula for the trapezoid, you may remember. Area equals 1/2 times the height times the sum of the bases. Well, in this case, we have the area. We're asked to find one of the bases. The bases, remember, are the sides that are parallel to one another. And you can tell these are parallel because they're both perpendicular to the same segment here, which is my height. So I'm going to plug 30 in here. I'm going to plug 12 in for either b sub 1 or b sub 2, x in for the other one, and 6 in for my height. I get 30 equals 1/2 times 6 times, I'm going to call it b sub 1x, and I'm going to call b sub 2 12. So half of 6 is 3, so I get 30 equals 3 times the quantity x plus 12. I'm going to distribute. I get 30 equals 3x plus 36. I am going to realize that I may have made a mistake when I set this problem up to get an area of 30. Heavens, in Murgatroyd, I'm going to get a negative number. Well, we're going to have to change this problem. This would be called a mistake. I'll make that 60, so I'll make this 60, so I'll make this 60, so I'll make this 60. Sorry about that. Otherwise, this problem is going to work out. I'm going to get a negative value for x. Now I'll subtract 36 from both sides. Please forgive me for this mess up. I get 3x equals 24. Divide both sides by 3. 24 divided by 3 and 3x divided by 3 gives me x is equal to 8. And this would be in inches. So that would be my answer there. Again, sorry about that. I had to make the area a little bit bigger so that I would come out with a positive number for my value of x. Problem number 5, you're to find the circumference of a circle with the radius. And since it gives me the radius, I'm going to use 2 pi r. So my circumference would be 2 times 3.14 times 10, since my radius is 10. Well, I know that 2 times 3.14 is 6.28, and 6.28 times 10, slide that decimal point, I get 62.8, or I'm going to round it to the nearest whole amount there. I'm going to go with 63, and this would be in centimeters. Just multiply it out in a calculator if you want to double check. Problem 6, this time they give me the area of the circle to be 100 square millimeters, and I want to know what the radius is. Remember, area equals pi r squared, so I have 100 equals 3.14 times r to the second power. I'm going to have to divide both sides by 3.14 to solve for r. I have r squared equals, and again it's calculator time. I grab my calculator, turn it on, clear it out. 100 divided by 3.14 gives me 31.85. 31.85. Now I'm going to take the square root and just the principal, just the positive square root. So I'm going to clear that out, and the square root of 31.85 is going to give me 5.64, or I'm going to round that up to 6 to the nearest whole amount there, and this would be in millimeters. Now if they ask you to round it to the nearest tenth, it would be 5.6, but traditionally they ask it for the whole number. Now problem number 7, you may see a formula that you didn't notice before, and that is just a specialized case formula for surface area of a rectangular prism, where one of these measurements is the length, one of these measurements is the width, and one of these measurements is the height. And the way I've got it drawn out, I have 12 as the length, 4 is the width, and 6 is the height. You can plug directly into this. This is the formula that they used to have on the formula sheet for the proficiency test. So I'm going to find the surface area by 2 times 12 times width is 4, plus 2 times 12 times height is 6, plus 2 times my width is 4 times 6. Let's see how good I can do this here. That's going to be, this part here is 96, this part here is 144, and this part here is 48. Let's see if I can add those up in my head. That would be 240, 288, if I didn't mess up too bad. 288, that's an 8 there, and this would be in square feet, because it is surface area. Just a few more. Okay, we have 3 more here. Let's find the surface area of this cylinder. Now remember that the surface area is equal to the area of the base times the height. Excuse me. The surface area of this is going to be equal to, for a cylinder, is equal to 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi RH. This would be the top and the bottom, and this would be the side. Almost gave you the wrong formula there. Got to keep them straight. So in this case, I have 10 for my radius, I have 12 for my height. My surface area is going to be 2 times 3.14 times 10 squared plus 2 times 3.14 times 10 times 12. Definitely a calculator problem. I grab my calculator here real quick. I have, see, 2 times 3.14 is 6.28 times 10 squared is 100. So I get 628 plus 6.28. That's the 2 times 3.14 times 10 times 12, so that'd be times 120. And that would equal 753.6. Now if I add 628 to that, so I don't make a mistake, I get 1,381.6. I'm going to round up to 1,382. This is surface area, so this is square meters. Now I'm going to find the volume of that shape over there. The volume of that shape is equal to pi r squared h. That's the specific formula I gave you for finding the volume of a cylinder. So in this case, my radius is 10 and my height is 12, so I have 3.14 times 10 squared times 12. So now I'm going to multiply 3.14 times 100 times, that's 10 squared, times 12, and I get 3,768, and this would be in cubic meters, because I'm finding the volume, and that's 3-dimensional. Now one more here. To find the volume of a rectangular prism, now we know it's the area of the base times the height. Of course, the area of the base is a rectangle, so it's length times width. So the volume actually is just length times width times height, which in this case would be 14 times 10 times 12. 14 times 10 is 140 times 12 is going to give me 1,680, and this is in feet here, so this is in cubic feet, and that would be the volume of that rectangular prism. So hopefully this will help you out. Make sure that if you have any questions, you ask them first before getting started on your unit test. And as always, remember, before you take that test, to practice, practice, practice.